My DJ's so bad.
Hey, this is CT with Desktop Arcade style controllers, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what to do if your Pop'n Music controller has any problems or needs to be cleaned in the course of its ownership. First step is always to flip it upside down. Mine's already unscrewed, but yours won't be. You'll find 2 screws at the front and 2 screws at the back. You'll unscrew them with a Phillips head screwdriver and carefully pull this back panel off with a flathead screwdriver. And you'll do better than I just did. Once this panel's off, you'll see 9 switches and 9 buttons. First, we'll go over microswitch replacement. This will probably be something that doesn't need to be done too often, but you might get a dud every once in a while. It will pop off. Simple as that. There'll be 2 leads. Remember which lead goes where. One's a signal and one's ground. You probably don't want to mix them up, especially if you have lights. Pull them off gently, and you'll have the microswitch assembly. Carefully pry this outward from the microswitch. The microswitch will flip up and you can remove it. Grab a new microswitch, place the peg in the hole, and bend it downward. This shouldn't require any force other than to bend the plastic sideways. It'll snap into place and you'll be good to go again. Pop the 2 leads back in place where they went and push straight down on the assembly. It'll click into place. You now have a button that works again. If you're still having any problems with the sticking button, odds are you've got a dirty button casing. Again, you wiggle sideways to pull this off and you set it aside. You'll find a large plastic disc and a smaller nut. Carefully twist the nut and loosen it. As soon as it comes off, you'll pull it straight up and pull the plastic disc straight up. You'll have the button that'll feel free to fall from the casing. Once this is done, it gets a little tricky because you don't want to break anything. You have 2 white pegs that hold the actual button into its casing. Push them in enough to pop in, and then carefully push them through. The button falls out. You have the casing that's probably filthy. You want to go ahead and wash that off and let it dry. On this side is the actual button. There's a spring in here and possibly an LED if you have anything installed like that. You're going to go ahead and wipe this off, clean it all up, make it look nice. You put the spring back in where it came from. Carefully pry these together so you don't break them. Put them back into the button casing and snap them through. Putting the button back can be a little tricky. There's 2 pegs on each side that have to fit right where the holes go. So what you'll want to do is go ahead and line them up on your controller. And once they're lined up, it'll settle into place. One peg may be a little larger or smaller than the other, and so will the hole in the wood. Drop this back into place and secure the nut. You don't want to screw the nut on too tightly or your button might stick, but then again, not so loose. Once that's on, go ahead and attach the microswitch assembly, pushing it straight down, and you're good to go. Once you're completed with that, go ahead and throw this panel back on. Carefully put the 4 screws back in it. Flip it back over, and your button now works.
I feel so good.